Hi, I'm Jeff Davis, and in the next 4 minutes, I'm going to reveal something that the greedy big energy monopolies don't want you to know about. Because once you know about this, they won't be able to force you and your family to pay overpriced and criminally high electric bills anymore. And you won't have to continue helplessly handing them over all your hard-earned money every month just so you can keep your home's lights on. Instead, if you do what I show you in the next couple of minutes, just like 42,119 other people have already done, you'll be able to slash your electric bill by up to 75% or more within the next 30 days. Break free from your dependence on the greedy big energy companies. Easily produce all of the free, renewable, and green energy you could ever want right at home, so you never again have to worry about conserving energy or how many lights or appliances your family leaves on. And you'll be able to make your home completely immune to power outages, blackouts, and energy grid failures. So even if everyone else in your area or even the whole country loses power, you won't. And you'll always have the peace of mind knowing that your family will remain safe, protected, and cozy in your home no matter what's going on in the world. And what's even better is, what I'm about to show you how to do is extremely easy and anybody can do it, because it doesn't require any technical skills or expensive or technical equipment. In fact, if you do exactly what I tell you in the next few minutes, you'll know how to actually force the energy company to pay you each month. So instead of going out to your mailbox and seeing an overpriced energy bill from them, you'll get a check for $10, $25, or even $50 every month, while you and all your family get to use all the power that you want. But before I begin, I need to warn you that this presentation will only be up for a limited time. So make sure you stop what you're doing right now and watch this while you still can. You'll be happy you did. First of all, who am I? And how can I make promises like these and actually guarantee them? Well, my name is Jeff Davis. I live right outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin with my beautiful wife, Jennifer, and my 2 kids, Danielle and David. And I discovered a simple secret 5 years ago that has let me and my family eliminate our energy bills and live energy independent since then. And over the past 5 years, I have helped over 42,119 other average people become energy independent with this same simple secret. And it's the same thing I'm about to teach you. But before I tell you what this is, I want to tell you what led up to this discovery, because chances are you and your family may be going through the exact same thing. You see, back then, I would dread one day every single month, the day my family's ever-increasing energy bill was due, because I knew that, once again, any money my wife and I had in our bank account and all the money we worked so hard for that past month would go straight to the big energy company to pay for yet another overpriced energy bill. It was like the energy company had a vacuum attached to our bank account that would just suck up all of our hard-earned money each month. It was maddening. The thing was, even though my family and I were doing everything we could to conserve energy and cut back, and I was constantly nagging everyone to turn off appliances and lights, we would only end up saving just a few measly bucks off of each energy bill. Eventually, out of desperation, I even turned off our air conditioner to try to save money, and that was during the sweltering hot summer. Well, after a few months of this and seeing how uncomfortable my wife and kids were in our hot home, and frankly after seeing how much they were starting to resent me for making them live like this, it became painfully obvious that just conserving energy does not work. But at the time, I thought I had no other options. There was just one energy company in town and I was completely dependent on them. So when they increased their rates, I had to pay. And to make matters even worse, the electricity I was paying a small fortune for was becoming more and more unreliable. It seemed like we'd lose power every time even a mild storm would blow through. And it's no secret why this was happening, and why power outages and extended energy grid failures will be happening more and more, and for longer periods of time, for every American in the coming years. Because the cold hard truth is, our country's energy grid is completely outdated. In fact, a decent amount of the energy grid was constructed over 100 years ago, some of it actually dating back to the 1880s. And most of the equipment in the grid is already running 20 years past its life expectancy. The American Society of Civil Engineers actually gave the U.S. energy grid a grade of a D+, and said that unless it gets a $673 billion overhaul within the next few years, the energy grid could completely break down, which would lead to a widespread energy crisis. And currently, there's no national plan to make these updates, and every day the grid gets worse and continues to rapidly age, and it becomes more and more vulnerable to blackouts, storms, natural disasters, and even cyber attacks. Just look what happened during Hurricanes Katrina and Sandy, the Northeast blackout of 2003, and the massive East Coast blizzard of 2010. Millions of families everywhere in well-populated areas were left without power for weeks, or even longer in some cases, even forcing some families to turn to government agencies like FEMA for help. And unfortunately, my family and I learned firsthand what it's like to be in a situation like this when you're not prepared. It happened 5 years ago when we lost power during a normal Wisconsin snowstorm. At first, I didn't think much of it and figured the power company would rush out, fix the problem, and get everyone's power back on right away. But the power didn't come on that night, nor the next day, or the day after that. Hundreds of dollars worth of food spoiled. Some of our pipes froze, and we were without water the entire time because no power means no water when you have an electric pump like we did. And on the third night, I'll never forget looking at my daughter, Danielle, as she tried to sleep but instead just shivered and looked at me helplessly. To this day, I can't get that look out of my head. She was probably thinking, "Protect me, Dad. Make it warm, Daddy." But I was as helpless as she was. And the power company I was paying all of my hard-earned money to, that I trusted to keep my family warm, safe, and comfortable, failed us miserably. I was furious, not only at the energy company, but even more so at myself for not preparing for a situation like this. And at that moment, I knew something had to change. I would never again leave my family in an unprepared and vulnerable position like this again. With the state of our country's aging energy grid, I knew I couldn't count on having reliable power in the coming years. And if the energy company couldn't even get my power back on within 3.5 days during a normal winter snowstorm, what would happen if a more serious situation took place? Or a power crisis happened? Well, I wasn't about to leave my family's safety and security to chance, and I knew that if I truly wanted to end my dependence on the big energy monopolies, and if I wanted to finally eliminate my ever-increasing and overpriced energy bills once and for all, there was only one real solution. I had to take control of my home's energy and make my own free, green, and renewable power right at home. That way, if energy prices skyrocket in the coming years like most experts are predicting, it won't matter for me and my family, because I'll be able to make all of the free energy we need from the comfort of my own home. And if there's an extended power outage in my area again, or worse, the aging energy grid goes down, we'll still have electricity, even if everyone else in our area, or even the country, doesn't. So at first, I started looking into solar panels and residential wind turbines. But the problem was, when I first started contacting solar panel and wind turbine retailers, I was absolutely shocked by the price of these systems. In fact, the cheapest system that I could find that would still only partially power my home was an astronomical $21,450. My wife and I didn't have anywhere near that amount of money to put into a system, and pretty much everywhere else I called wanted to charge me between $22,000 to $25,000. I was devastated. And just when I was about to give up on my solar dream, I discovered the secret that finally changed everything for me. I met an underground solar and wind power expert, Tim Baker. Tim has built and set up hundreds of residential solar panels over the years, but he knows a very unique way to do this. Because instead of spending thousands and thousands of dollars on solar panels and installation fees, like a solar panel retail and installation company would charge him, he's able to very easily put together and set up solar panels all by himself for just a tiny fraction of that cost. In fact, for only about $100 a solar panel. And Tim's solar panels are A-grade professional quality, extremely efficient, and are typically much better quality than what the solar panel retailers are trying to sell people in stores. When I asked Tim how he was able to do this, he revealed something to me that solar panel retailers don't exactly publicize. The individual parts and components that actually make up a solar panel system are very inexpensive. In fact, most major solar panel retail corporations get cheap parts from China, package them together, and then mark up these solar panel kits by 10 to 15 times their cost. Talk about a ripoff. But Tim knows how to buy all the parts that make up a professional quality solar panel directly from a few secret sources for dirt cheap prices. But the parts he buys are all brand new and A-grade quality, unlike the cheap stuff that's in most of the off-the-shelf retail solar panels. And once Tim gets the parts, he's able to very easily put together the solar panel system in about an hour, using just standard everyday hand tools. And it gets even better, because Tim said that literally anybody can easily do this like him, if they have the correct instructions, even if they have zero technical experience. And all they really need is some